worry, Jeremy. Don't worry. We can do the thing where you make a statement and then it's just blatantly wrong. Like, that's the thing you can do. That's the thing we can do. I don't trust the words that come out of your mouth generally, Jeremy. So this is one of the reasons why. Alrighty, everybody. I am ready to talk about one of the most prolific deaths in the last couple weeks. And I'm sorry, everybody. I hate to tell you, Hulk Hogan is dead. I know it's been like a week. I haven't cared. I haven't talked about it because I haven't cared. I'm sorry. But I do want to show you guys fan art real quick, and then we are going to get into today's video because, well, somebody is definitely defending Hulk Hogan as best as they possibly can. So let's take a look at that. But for today's fan art, we have this one from Axo saying, "Not shading, today we doing flats." And it's me with a tinfoil hat on, with a neckcoin, Biden impregnation, me am pregnant, I don't know what the is, and then there's an NSFW Vaporeon here that is censored for your viewing pleasure. And I have a meteor golem in between my tits. You know, it's very hard. It is very hard for me to actually be upset when there's a meteor golem in my tits. Jesus Christ. Drew to Dave says, Hogan, Ozzy's a better discussion. So, understandable, but not what the subject of today's video is gonna be. Subject of today's video is gonna be this guy here who has a very nasty habit of pissing in his basement when his wife is upset with him. We're gonna do that. Goblin says he was a scab, and I think that outweighs the modicum of good he ever contributed. So, my understanding of Hulk Hogan is he was a racist, he was a scab, he spent a lot of time endorsing Donald Trump, and all of these things are reasons for me not to care about another human being. At the very least, to wish that they would improve as a person. But once somebody's dead, we can't wait for them to improve as a person anymore. I said he was a fundy Jeebusman. That's another reason. So, Jeremy here is going to talk to us about an incident that happened in regards to the Hulk Hogan death that happened recently. And while we do that, we're going to listen to the dulcet tones of not only Jeremy, but me playing Donkey Kong 64.
This is one of the wildest stories to date. One of the largest fitness influencers, probably the only one most of us non-fitness people have ever heard of, Joey Swoll. If you're not aware of who he is, he's somebody who calls out, basically made a career of calling out dumb thoughts at the gym. He was doing a public service by calling out these people that would demonize men and generally act completely like entitled brats at the gym. He would call them out, roast.
Is that really doing somebody a public service? I'm not 100% aware of Joey Swoll. So, is calling out thoughts at the gym... Like, when you say that, when you say calling out thoughts at the gym, I am not inclined to believe the framing that you're giving, right?
So, man, everybody kind of loved it. Well, he dared to put out a simple picture of himself wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume to pay tribute to Hulk Hogan passing away. And he has now been completely bullied off the internet. He has quit. This guy is a guy with millions of followers and has done...
So you're saying he's a pussy. So you're saying the guy who was willing to fight and take women out of gyms is a pussy. Okay.
Countless years of countless good acts, getting rid of toxic people from the gym, and he's having one of the most beta male crash outs imaginable. So he got some pushback from woke lefties about daring to pay tribute to Hulk Hogan. Now understand that Hulk Hogan one time in private said the N-word, so therefore he's irredeemable.
No, he didn't in private say the N-word. He used it a lot, and the most famous one that everybody knows is when he was saying that he would never allow his daughter to date a black person. Now, obviously, he did not use those words. He used the N-word when he was doing that. It wasn't, he used it one time in private. That's not what happened, my guy. He was an out racist. Also, probably more important to note, people on social media have been pointing out his past and his history. So, as an example, there's a friend of mine, Biminem, who is about as normie as you can get on politics. He's a Christian. He's fairly conservative, like very, very socially liberal, but claims himself to be conservative, which is mostly due to not being super politically involved to know what the right and the left is and all that other fun stuff. And despite me knowing him for years, a lot of that information hasn't really stuck. But in our conversation about the Hulk Hogan thing, he was able to name all of the dumb and bad shit Hulk Hogan did. And I said, this is literally the first time that you have ever known all of the basic information about some big controversy. This is the first time that that's been the case. And he's like, well, yeah, on social media, everybody has been giving effectively full biographies on what the hell happened with Hulk Hogan. It's been hard not to know. It's been hard not to know what happened. Donald says, I'll never let my daughter marry a clanker. Techno TJ says, I wasn't aware these people were still on the beta male thing. Oh, yeah, they are. You gotta remember, astronomy for gym bros is still, or astrology for gym bros is still astrology for gym bros. It's never gonna truly go away.
And he can never be saved. Even though he's done countless charitable acts, even helped save a young girl's life who was in a car accident last year. He's been recently saved. He started going to church. He's obviously apologized for this.
Who the fuck cares about if he went to church? I'm sorry, but I don't care if he's right with God. It's not... We have no way of knowing what's in his heart of hearts, so I have no way of caring about what's in his heart of hearts where God is concerned. I care about the actions that he has actually made. Now, here's the thing that people don't seem to understand. You can criticize somebody for being a piece of shit, and that person can still do good things. Did you know that if somebody gets into a car accident, and you save their life, but you also raped someone, you can't then say, but I saved somebody's life, that doesn't magically absolve you of the rape. It doesn't make that go away. It's really naive to think so. Now, you can feel like you contribute more good to society after the fact later, and that's an entirely valid statement. But it doesn't mean that the person who you raped, or the family of the people who you hurt, have to forgive you. Not at all. So if there's a group of people who have a word that's being used against them, and they generally don't like that word being used against them, they don't have to forgive Hulk Hogan for doing that. It said, what is Hogan's heart of hearts? Embalming fluid, probably? Saving one life versus your propaganda, potentially being responsible for the suffering of many others. Again, that's another thing. Like, Hulk Hogan becoming a Christian. Becoming a Christian doesn't make somebody a good person. It doesn't. I don't care if you've gone to church. There's a friend of mine, oh, I don't want to name, who has a family member who did some very, very terrible things. And I'm trying to avoid all of the details that I can, because it's just not my story to tell. This family member has done some very, very horrible things, and the people who he did the horrible things to have not forgiven him. You know who has forgiven him, though? His church. And he might be going to jail for the horrible things that he did. But his church is saying, oh, but he's right with God. I know he did horrible things, but he's right with God. That's why I don't give a shit if he went to church. I don't think that that's a litmus test for anything. anything at all.
None of his black coworkers had a problem with him. But yeah, overweight white liberals.
None of his black coworkers had a problem with him. I wonder. I could be wrong here, but let me see. That's okay, Jeremy. You don't have to have receipts. I can find those receipts instead. That's something I can do. So you said none of his coworkers. None of his coworkers. Nobody who worked with him had any problems with him. None of them. That's really weird. Black WWE stars who weigh in on his reinstatement. Let's see what is actually being said here. See, this is the second chance, follows Hogan's numerous public apologies and volunteering to work with young people, where he is helping them learn from his mistake. Some fans think Hulk Hogan has apologized enough for his comments. In 2015, it came out that he had said, "I guess we're all a little racist," and had used the N-word repeatedly when referring to his daughter's love life. Okay, cool. So, not use the N-word once in private. That's not what he did. He did later call it the biggest mistake of his life and said the language he used was inconsistent with his own beliefs. Some fans say Hulk Hogan needs to be given a second chance to prove that he's changed. Let's see here. Titus O'Neil shared a statement following the New Day's message, saying that he's a proponent of second and even third chances, but the 41-year-old said that he echoes the New Day's sentiments. Hulk Hogan's apology that he didn't know he was being recorded is not remorse for the hateful and violent utterances he made, which reprise language that has caused violence against black people and minorities for centuries. The one-time WWE Tag Team Champion says he believes Hogan is entitled to reinstatement, given he's a hero and an icon to countless people. That's not saying that he doesn't have a problem with him. That's saying that the way that he apologized is not a full apology, Jeremy. Mark Henry said that the apology was not enough, said Hogan needed to show remorse in actions, not just words, said that trust had to be earned back, and Hogan hadn't earned it. But don't worry, Jeremy. Don't worry. We can do the thing where you make a statement and then it's just blatantly wrong. Like, that's the thing you can do. That's the thing we can do. I don't trust the words that come out of your mouth generally, Jeremy. So this is one of the reasons why, because I can look up receipts.
Bullied this guy into one of the most pathetic apologies I've ever seen.
I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids.
What's wrong with people reading it? It's okay. Like, people read from teleprompters all the time. If you mean what you mean when you write it down and you read it off of a teleprompter so that you can actually keep your thoughts clear, that's fine. I don't see the problem with that.
Kids that we grew up with that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers.
Right.
I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done.
What are they? What are all the horrible things he's done? I'm genuinely asking.
No, you're not. You're not genuinely asking because you've already downplayed one of them. Now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and try to police people's language and say that if you use this in private with your friends, then you're a terrible person. I'm not going to do that because that doesn't do me any favors. But let's see here. So if we just take a quick look into the things that have happened with Hulk Hogan. He was fired from the WWE, removed from the Hall of Fame, and had a lot of major backlash because of the racist scandal that surfaced in 2015, but happened in 2007. Then we have the steroid trial and allegations where he admitted to using steroids, was then accused of lying to protect the WWE, publicly denied their use for many, many years before admitting that he had used them under oath, which is a very hypocritical thing for him to be doing when that's not the lifestyle that he was putting out. Let's see here. What else do we have here? Granted, I cannot verify the veracity of this one, but Hulk Hogan wasn't just racist, he was specifically and uniquely racist, that after his son almost killed his friend in a wreck, one of Hogan's primary concerns was that he and his family would be reincarnated into a black family due to karma. This was caught on radio. When he came back to WWE, he hit the roster with a "be careful about cameras" as opposed to "I'm sorry." However, there is something very, very important that we need to remember in regards to Hulk Hogan. There was an attempt at unionizing the WWF back when it was the WWF. Wrestlers in the WWF locker room, including Jesse Ventura, were frustrated with the lack of benefits, no job security, and being treated as independent contractors. He then tried to organize a union and contacted a labor lawyer to begin the process. However, according to Ventura, Hulk Hogan was pitched the union idea, and then someone snitched to Vic McMahon. Vic McMahon called Ventura into his office and confronted him, saying, "You can't do this, I know what you're up to." Ventura later learned during a legal disposition that Hulk Hogan was the one who told McMahon about the plan. So, when we're talking about the bad things Hulk Hogan's done, we're not just talking about him being a racist, we're talking about him disrespecting every other worker that he has ever fucking worked with. That's what's being talked about on top of this. Because, truthfully, when we are talking... Oh, and also, Jas has got the receipts on that one real quick. Whop. Pop that over there. Yeah, Jesse Ventura, Hulk Hogan ratted me out when I was trying to unionize wrestling. He famously tried to start a wrestlers union, and he disagreed with Vince McMahon about it during his time in the WWE. Ventura went on to become the governor of Minnesota. He later started making sporadic appearances for WWE over the years. It doesn't surprise me, because when I was in wrestling in the 80s, I tried to unionize wrestling. It was Hulk Hogan who cut my legs out from under me. Hulk Hogan went to Vince McMahon, ratted me out, and subsequently, later on, cost me my job. It doesn't surprise me to see Hogan with the Republicans, because Hogan is as anti-union as you can get. There is still not a union in professional wrestling. The reason I tried to do it, I was in an elevator and ran into Gene Upshaw, the great guard from the Oakland Raiders. Big Gene raised his finger and looked up and said, "You boys need to form a union." I tried to do it, and it was Hulk Hogan that ratted me out to Vince McMahon, and subsequently I was fired and lost my job. So, Jeremy, when we are talking about the bad things that Hulk Hogan has done, fucking over an entire industry forevermore is high up on that list.
What are all the horrible things that he's done? Seriously.
And I say that as something that bothers me specifically as somebody who actually has a friend who is former WWE. If you remember on my Suris Bits channel, I do actually know a former WWE wrestler. And there are friends of mine who are very, very close to wrestling families and wrestling fame. There are friends in the card shop that I go to all the time that are connected within wrestling infrastructure, and the person in charge of the video game that I did voice acting for recently also is heavily involved in the wrestling scene. So it may not be my bag, but it's the bag of people I care about.
He said the N-word one time. He seemed to be a pretty good dad. I'm not sure what horrible things he's done.
Since last night, I have
So you didn't do any research. I was able to do some of that literally right now.
done a lot of research, talked to a few people,
What?
and learned all of the horrible, horrible things that man has done.
What?
Which is way more than just making a mistake and being human. So because of that,
He said
I've taken the videos down, and I apologize to any.
So is it that Jeremy doesn't know that he's done union busting? Is it that he doesn't know that he was like a proud out-and-out scab and fucked over an industry for 45 years? Is it that he just doesn't know that? Or is Jeremy so far up his own ass and just refuses to do any research? Because, like, I understand what it's like to be a YouTuber that just grabs somebody's video and reacts to it blindly. That's what I've been doing. But I've also been pausing my recording halfway through in order to do a little bit of background research to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Jassa says he should have never said the N-word. I don't care that he said it. I care about the context in which that he said it. Like, if somebody is just hanging out with 4 of their friends and they just say the word once, I'm not gonna fucking bat an eye at that point. I'm gonna ask them why the hell they said it, because it's dumb. It's hurtful, it's painful for other people to hear, and it says a lot about who you are as a person. But I'm not gonna ram down somebody's throat. But that's not what he did. He said things like, I hope we don't get reincarnated as a black family. He said things like, I'm never gonna let my daughter marry an N-word. That's a specific kind of very, very vitriolic racism that is normally only reserved for people to make fun of in comedy sketches when they have to have the racist character to make fun of. But Hulk Hogan was that character, apparently. Alpha Mario said that this minigame has some specific glitches earlier. I'm hoping that some of those glitches can help me actually do this minigame, because this is infuriating. This feels like the worst version of that goat herding minigame from Twilight Princess.
Anybody that I offended, I am sorry. Also, during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very...
Oh my god, this guy! I've never seen a guy more cut and more cucked than Joey Swoll. What, colored? Is that bad? What, colored person of color? Is it really that different? I guarantee you black...
It is, though. So, okay, so when I talk to people who are black, if I say the coloreds, I'm gonna get some fucking side eyes. I'm gonna get some fucking side eyes the minute I do that. But if I say black people, probably not gonna get some side eyes. I don't know. Just personal experience. Maybe Jeremy needs more black friends.
Black people weren't actually offended by this. It was only overweight white people that were.
very offensive term. A few moments later, somebody educated me and told me that it wasn't okay to use that, which I...
Colored. Black people are colored people. So what? Did anybody get hurt by that? White people, people call white people, well, color's not really the same as saying cracker, but who cares? It's just words.
Immediately apologized to everyone and
I
said,
apologize, Jeremy. Did you not think that words have impact? Did you not think that words could, like, hurt people? That's really weird that you think words have zero impact. Remind me how many people Hitler actually killed, or, like, how many people died because of his words. Just real quick, just maybe there's a few million of them we can talk about real quick.
I would never do that again. So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards. I am human, I am still growing, I am still learning, and I promise all of you, I will do better.
Now, he apologized, and of course, this won't be enough.
I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place, and once again, to everybody, I apologize.
For what? Of course, fitness influencer Joey Swoll quits after bending the knee to the woke mob by apologizing for honoring Hulk Hogan when he passed. The gym positivity influencer tried backtracking, which clearly wasn't good enough. Swoll now says he's done. If we look at his post, all the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. I truly hope all the people I've helped inspire to do great things in their life and pay it forward to help others carry on my message. But no matter how much good you do, people just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. You either die a hero or you live long enough to be the villain. Thank you for your support. I am done. Now, he said a lot of people are upset with me calling me.
Now, okay, I will say, before I continue, he's actually right. There are plenty of people who are just sitting on the sidelines waiting for you to fuck up. Hell, I know that there's somebody, one insane person on Twitter, very likely, who the minute that my downfall happens, if it were to ever happen, will be saying, all is planned. It was all calculated. It's what I wanted the whole time. And they're not going to realize they sound like a fucking really, really weird child version of a supervillain when they do that. There are people who just want you to fail and will wait for you to fail and will do everything to make sure that your failure is something that they can either engineer or is going to end up happening. I agree that that kind of person exists, and that kind of person is shitty. There is a conversation that needs to be had in general about, I don't want to call it cancel culture because that doesn't really encompass what it is, honestly. But it kind of is cancel culture. To a degree, that's the only word that I can think of that accurately describes the phenomenon of you did a bad thing and now your career's over and nobody is happy with you forevermore. Like, I can't think of any other words that really describe that better than, well, that word. Sounds like a video by a drama tuber with some thumbnail with Suris' API. Maybe. It's the downfall culture. Is it the downfall culture? Is that the word that we would use? Downfall culture? I don't know. Said, oh god, what is the quarter pounder up to? So again, I don't know enough about Joey Swoll. I don't. I can do the funny, I guess he's just a little bitch. But I don't actually know him very well. I don't. I don't have a lot of an opinion about him. So reading this, I guess I'll go with what Jeremy... I'll let him do the reading, because it's less work for me.
Weak and a quitter, or worse. They're not wrong and I deserve it. I mean, he is totally being a baby. They sent messages to me telling me, you know, they know where I live and they want to unalive me. That's fine, I can handle it. But it's not the first time. They even went after my girlfriend and business partner, and they found my sister's number and text messaged her. That made me furious and disgusted with some people. I lost it, so yeah, maybe I'm done with social media or I need to take a break to get my head right. But I will say there's so many incredible people being supportive and telling me how much I've helped them to be stronger, to keep fighting. Thank you to everyone who's been giving me a kick in the rear end, telling me to stop being weak and a quitter. You need to hear that once in a while. I just need to breathe. Like, bro. What I would do, what I would offer him is exactly what this person said. Put the tribute back up, delete the apology, and continue posting like it never happened. Ignore these commenters in the future. They're not your fans or friend, just a loud minority.
So that's the kind of thing that you would do if you're a Machiavellian villain. And I'm not saying that to make it sound more grandiose than it is. That's literally the Machiavelli strategy. You don't admit fault. You don't admit when there is a problem. You don't admit when you've created a problem. You simply tell somebody effectively, I'm sorry you feel that way, and then you move on. That is the Machiavelli strategy. And there is some merit to it. I'm not even going to lie. There is some merit to it if your goal is to be able to just move on with your life. You don't ignore it and it goes away, so much as you just don't pay the people the kind of heed that they want, because there is a type of person who, for them, your reaction is all they're going for. I think making the apology is fine, especially because when we look at Hulk Hogan's history, he didn't seem like he was that great of a person. A lot of people loved him for his celebrity status. But most people who really like Hulk Hogan don't like him because, oh, he saved somebody from a car at one point. They like him because they liked him on WrestleMania. They liked him because they grew up with him. Or they liked him because they like saying brother. Like, they like that kind of shit. But that's not the same thing as liking him for who he is and endorsing his beliefs. You don't have to at that point. I think the best thing you can do in this situation is to take a breather, hop off social media, spend some time with your friends and family, and then in about 3 or 4 days, continue posting. Obviously, you start out not by deleting the apology. You put the apology up for a reason. If you delete the apology, it feels like you're just being a spiteful bitch. And I get that Jeremy would give that advice because Jeremy's a spiteful bitch. It just feels like what you would need to do is come back after a bit and keep doing your content. Your audience will still be there, and the people who were angry at you, they'll see in the character of who you are after everything that you've done your due diligence, at least in some way, shape, or form. But deleting the apology feels like that would just show somebody who doesn't actually stand by their convictions. It just shows that you're wishy-washy and spiteful. Again, I get that that's who Jeremy is, but you don't have to be Jeremy.
100% agree. These people are irrelevant. People were so deranged. Look at this. Florida school board chair celebrates Hogan's death. One less mega in the world. This is a school board chair. Hours after Hulk Hogan's passing last Thursday, a Florida school board chair celebrated the news on social media. Meet Sarah Rockwell, an elected county public school board member. Oh, did Hulk die? I didn't even know. Good. One less mega in the world. Hogan was, of course, an avid supporter of President Trump and endorsed him on stage at the Republican National Convention last July. In a follow-up post, Rockwell accused Hogan of conspiring with the WWE co-founder Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon, Trump's education secretary, to union bust professional wrestling. Literally, what? He's never been a good guy. I feel absolutely nothing about his death. Another school board ghoul, no doubt. I mean, look, a lot of people pass away, and you don't have to feel a certain way about it. Hulk Hogan, most people will never know what Hulk Hogan's fatal mistake of saying the N-word one time, okay? Something he apologized for, something I don't endorse, but something that 99% of people don't even know about him. So if he brought them into...
Again, it's more than just that. It's also the way that he operated when he was fucking over people in the Union. There's also that. I'm gonna be honest, I find that to be the more important thing, personally. If you don't want your fellow workers to get a fair shake, that says more about you than most other things you could say or do.
Wrestling, and he was a positive influence in their life. He got them to take their vitamins, and he got them into physical fitness, or he got them into feeling positive about themselves. And they never knew that he said the N-word one time, okay? Isn't his influence still a positive one and one that should be celebrated? Nobody's going to remember this loser after this video. Over the weekend, Len Cabrera argued that Rockwell should be censured for violating the board standards of ethical conduct, which requires members to value the worth and dignity of every person. She then apologized. A few days ago, I made a cruel and flippant comment on my personal Facebook account about a friend's post regarding the death of Hulk Hogan. She wrote, I want to make it very clear I will never have wish harm on anyone, regardless of whether we share political views. While I strongly disagree with some of the comments Hulk Hogan made, this is no excuse for my comments. So she had to apologize.
Okay.
Rockwell isn't sorry. She's only sorry that her ignorant viral comments about Hulk Hogan's death could have cost her job, and they should have. I mean, these are people that, who even cares? Like, if you're not into, if you don't support Hulk Hogan, so what? Just because, this guy dresses Hulk Hogan once for Halloween, issuing this apology might be the biggest, cuckolding of entire in history.
What?
This is a guy who has 5...
Is it a bigger cuckolding than my wife went to get pizza without me and now I'm sad and gonna pee? What? So meanwhile he makes an entire video? Again though, I do have respect for Jeremy, and it's not because I think he's a respectable human being. I don't. I have respect for Jeremy because I see that he has success. His YouTube channel is very, very successful. Which means his ideas propagate and go out there to multiple people. And it's more than a little silly and ignorant to ignore the power that that has. Orla the Villain says, fuck Hulk Hogan, glad the racist dead. I don't know if he was still a racist when he finally kicked the bucket. I don't have that information, but I do know that he had a long-lasting legacy of fucking over a union. Which is where most of my concerns are going to be, where he's concerned. I'm just not really into fucking over other workers. I think workers' rights are kind of an important thing to fight for, generally speaking. Alpha Mario says Hitler was also successful until he wasn't. Uh-huh. And we see that Trump has been emulating some of his strategies, and now he's got more power than anybody else in the entire world. You need to figure out which strategies of the right wing you can emulate without sacrificing your principles. Never, ever, 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 ever sacrifice your principles. But do recognize when a good tool, a good strategy, a good weapon has been found. Said he was a huge Trumper before he died, and to be honest, even if he personally wasn't a racist, in the end it's a distinction without a difference. I don't agree with that statement, actually. If somebody no longer... So, like, I don't support Hulk Hogan, or I guess I didn't when he was alive. But I think if somebody does not engage in a behavior, then ascribing that behavior to them forever doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like, otherwise, I'm a flagrant transphobe. And of course I would be, because that's what I was. And I don't get to be anything else ever. I feel like that's not a good tactic. I feel like that's a tactic that earns people more enemies than it does allies. And as a group of politically organized people, we need more allies than enemies when we have options. But the actions of fucking over an entire industry or something that has a lot of weight to me, and it's very hard for me to see past that. Orla says, I meant in the sense that he was in support of a huge racist, so even if he wasn't racist, supporting racists hurts people. See, that I agree with. Okay, that's a more cogent thought, and I can agree with that version of the thought. It is okay to judge people by the people that they support. Not necessarily always by the people that they associate with, but 100% by the people that they endorse. I can agree with that. That one makes sense. I am struggling. I do not like this level. I do not like this level, Sam I am. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Just a whole bunch of shit thrown around everywhere. Por qué?
5.4 million subscribers on Instagram alone. This sorry has 170,000 likes, but most people should have never apologized. Credibility lost. I'm offended that you took the video down and apologized. Y'all soft as hell. Is this really happening? Are we submitting to the woke agenda? I'm more offended by the apology. I felt like it was to celebrate his wrestling legacy. I don't know why people are so sad.
I feel like if you're upset that somebody gave an apology, then maybe you don't need to be part of these conversations. I'm sorry. So you'll have to beat me in 2 laps and collect my coins. Try pressing Z to speed up and you... Why does this game have so many minigames? I don't... There's so many minigames. And I don't think I've enjoyed a single one of them. How many of these coins am I supposed to have? Lap 2 of 2. Am I supposed to have 10? Like, I barely have any time to see when a coin is on the track. Is the strategy just memorization? Is that what it has to be? Is that what I have to do? Jesus Christ. Alpha says they wanted to make it a big game. Yeah, but it... Ah! God, that is infuriating. Too slow, Tiny. I'm still king of the track. Fuck off, buddy. I'll be king of your mom. Anyway, that's enough of that. Jeremy freaking out about a person who made a mistake. Speaking of gym bro culture, how'd you guys like the gym stream yesterday? I'll be doing more. Ah, no, I did not hit my button. Okay. Like, I can understand wanting to make a big game. I get it, but... it feels like in making a big game, they failed to make a good one. But it is certainly big. I will give Donkey Kong... or not, Donkey Kong 64 that. It is a large game. I'm just... Does he rubber band? There is no way that this Futhermucker rubber bands. Practices from the early days of gaming that never need to be repeated. Rubber banding. Alright, did I actually do it? Oh no, the shame of being beaten by a monkey. That's racist. I'll let you have this prize if you promise not to mention this to the other cars at the pit lane. No. Okay, we got it. We got the thing. We can end the video on that. We successfully got the thing. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full-time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.